I'm talking to @Michele Bachmann, for those of you who are Twitter fans. She's running for president. You might have known that already, and she has a book out called Core of Convictions, and I'm betting, Congressman, that some of the things we just talked about are going to be in that book.
No, you're absolutely right, because my core of conviction centers on family. That's where I got my core of conviction. It was our Judeo-Christian ethic that my parents taught me, and some key basic lessons like no one owes you a living, and an honest day's work for an honest day's pay, and your word is your bond. Just some key American core values that really have the power to change who we are and change our family life for the better. And that's what's more important to me than anything. I'm a mom and a wife first and foremost, and family is what it's all about. And so for me, in my new book, Core of Conviction, I can get it in any bookstore or online, or go to michelebachmann.com to get it. My whole key is to make sure, and that's why I'm running for the presidency, is to make sure that this next generation that's worth it all has at least the benefits that we've had. We've got a huge debt problem and a lot of problems in our country that have to be addressed with the economy and joblessness. But why are we worried about those things? We're worried about it because we got to support our family.
Congressman, let me ask you, do you think it is fair or just or appropriate that the coverage of the presidential election tends to focus on the two or three candidates with the highest percentage at that particular point, and because you haven't been in that, you're often not even discussed when there's a quick blurb on an update on the presidential campaign?
Well, that's true, because the media wants to choose our candidate, don't they? That's what they usually want to do, is they want to make the choice. But today, over 70% of all Americans are undecided. Let's let the people choose. And that's why it's important that in the debates, the candidates get an equal amount of time. This Saturday night, I'll be on Fox with Mike Huckabee. All the candidates will get an equal amount of time. And so I encourage people, tune in, pay attention. And it's really about the future of this next generation. That's what I want to do, set the country on the right rails so that people can have jobs and buy a house and live the American dream, because I just want our families to succeed.
Let me ask you this. Who is the most liberal candidate in the Republican field?
And the voters are going to have to choose that. But I think if you look at the candidates, clearly, if you look at Newt Gingrich and Mitt Romney, they have both had a lot of issues with flip-flopping and a lot of very expensive issues. Mitt Romney was behind Romneycare, which is the precursor for Obamacare, and Newt Gingrich was the originator of the idea of the individual mandate, which is Obamacare. And also, they were both for cap and trade and the $700 billion TARP bailout. Those are very expensive propositions that I opposed. I wasn't for the Wall Street bailout. And so I think when you look at who is the consistent core conservative in the race, there's no question it's me. There's no surprises with me. I have a very consistent record, and that's what people will find. They can read it in my book, Core of Conviction, or go to my website, michelebachmann.com, and that's what they'll find out, a core set of convictions and a conservative value set that I intend to bring to the White House.
It strikes me, Congressman Bachmann, that during the course of this, Romney shoots out to the front because the guy's been running for 6 years. He had a lot of money. The Republican establishment seems to want him, even if the Tea Party doesn't. It's frustrated me that I feel like nobody's done what they did in 2007 and really laid bare his background. Is there a strategic reason why you and others have not really said, look, let's point out who Mitt Romney, and as you said, let's point out who Newt Gingrich is? Why not do that?
Well, listen, I'm with you, and we're trying to do that as much as we can. It really is dependent upon how the media picks up what I say and broadcast it. I gave an interview today with a number of media outlets where I laid out Newt Gingrich's background, and so we'll see if they report that or not. But I've been trying to do that with Governor Romney as well. Again, not to trash the candidates, but just to talk about the compare and contrast. There are very real differences. You don't get anyone who more represents the establishment Washington than Newt Gingrich. He's been there for decades, and his office is on K Street, of all places, where all the lobbyists are. He's taken literally tens of millions of dollars a year in his organization to influence the outcome of decisions in Washington. The same with Mitt Romney. when he was the governor of Massachusetts. Mitt Romney has been on every side of the abortion issue, every side of the marriage issue, every side of the climate change issue. And so no one knows what his core of conviction is. That's what's different about me. I am the only candidate who has the core of conviction, but I'm also the only candidate that can pull all parts of the conservative movement together. I am the head of the Tea Party caucus in Washington, and I brought 40,000 people to Washington to fight against Obamacare. I am a strong social conservative that has stood for life and marriage and religious liberty since I was 19 years of age. I sit on the Intelligence Committee. We deal with the classified secrets of the nation. There's no other candidate more well-versed in the national security threats to the nation than I am. From day one, I would know exactly what to do as president with our national security, and also a fiscal conservative. I'm the only tax attorney in the race. I've started a small business. The other candidates can't say that. And so I'm the complete package that can pull everyone together, because that's really what we need, a candidate who can pull our party together. I'll stand up on stage. I will hold Barack Obama accountable. I will be able to hold his radical agenda accountable and rip it to shreds in the debates. And then when I go as president, my goal will be to pull the country together around surviving and thriving and growing for the sake of our families. That's what I can do, and I think it's time to have a core, consistent conservative mom in the White House. We've never had one before. We've tried all the other options. Now let's get a true conservative mom. That's what I am.
Give me one adjective to describe Newt Gingrich.
I don't know. I guess I'd have to think about that a little while. It's, examine his record, and I think that the problem is that he's been all over the map on issue after issue after issue, on both sides of TARP, both sides of Libya, both sides of, you name the issue, he's been on both sides of immigration. He came out in the last debate and said he's willing to take the heat for his position that he wants to legalize 11 million workers in this country. Well, that's what most people have called amnesty, rewarding people who come into the country legally. I don't have anything against Hispanics. I just think that everyone needs to abide by the rule of the law, and that's why I would make English the official language of the American people. And I also think that we need to rethink the anchor babies and not give automatic American citizenship to people who come into the country illegally for the purpose of having a baby.
I agree. Should Herman Cain step out of the race if the allegation is true?
Oh, I'm not going to comment. That's up to him. It's very personal, and so he'll make that decision.
Is it an appropriate question to be asked by the media if he had a 13-year affair?
For the media to ask him?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's, again, that's up to them. I'm not going to comment on that.
Do you think it's the case? Let me ask you this, and I know you had a number of things to get to, so I'll leave it with this. When you look at where you are in the polls, obviously you want to be leading, but I went back and looked at this point in 2007, and Rudy Giuliani had 28.5%, 14% ahead of the other folks. So there's going to be a lot of movement yet between now and the Republican primary, much less the next. But when you look at where you are, and obviously you want to be in first place, what is the single greatest reason you're not leading? Is it a lack of money? Is it a lack of coverage? Is it the Republican national structure and who they seem to be? What would you say has been so far that impediment to getting where you want to be?
I think what it is lack of coverage, because the media wants to choose their candidates. And I think what they see in me is that I pose the greatest threat to Barack Obama. Mine would be a historic candidacy, and unlike any of the other candidates that are running, there's no compromises with me. I can hold Obama accountable on every issue, and I don't have surprises that people are going to find out about. And so I think I make the toughest competition for Barack Obama. And so even conservative media, they've turned and gone to other candidates, and I don't know if it's whether being a woman, or I don't know what it is, but I think that is the single greatest determiner, because whoever the media focuses on, that's who gets the biggest bump in the polls. But I also think we are poised perfectly right now to catch that wave and be in first place on January 3rd. And, of course, all campaigns need money, and we need money. And so if any of your listeners want to donate to our campaign, they should go to MicheleBachmann.com. We've got a donate page, and we'd love to have the donations because I truly believe that I will be the Republican nominee and defeat Barack Obama in 2012.
Well, Congressman Michele Bachmann, I will see you a few days later than that, January 8th in New Hampshire, and I look forward to that. Thanks for being our guest, particularly on late notice on a topic near and dear to my heart and yours, being a foster parent as well. Good luck out there on the campaign hustings.
Congratulations, Michael, on your new child. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you.